I am toy maker ZW and today we are creating a life-size CatNap Plush from Poppy Playtime. But there are a couple of issues we have to solve first, like how do we achieve that nice indentation of the mouth? All of the bootleg plushies have failed to do so, and even the official ones like this could not achieve it either. Only one creator has successfully done so, and they were the ones who created the CatNap replica that was featured in the game, made by Boira Plushies. So I went straight to the source to ask them, and turns out they simply glued the mouth onto some foam to maintain the shape. Problem solved, cause you can find the exact 3D model online and it has very good UVs that we can use to separate and print them in two parts. I'm printing them using the Mega 8KS, a much bigger printer than I usually use because of how big CatNap is, at 40 cm tall. But unlike the Miss Delight statue that we printed previously that took a full day to print, CatNap only took 14 hours because it only had 3000 layers in total. Not only did we print the head, we also managed to get the other accessories like his crescent charm and the mouth thingy. But if you're wondering why I printed parts like the palms and the feet, that's because of the second issue. I feel that there's no way a plush could have their arms lying down so nicely on the sides like in the digital renders. Even the plushies I have in hand are not able to do so, but luckily I stumbled upon Umbra Tundra, who has made many realistic Pokemon plushies that could articulate thanks to the plastic armature that they used. They attached it to some printed hands and feet, so that is what I'm trying to imitate by printing the palms and feet. I washed all the parts in the Wash Mega S, and now I'm going to remove all the supports, which can be quite sharp sometimes because they literally tore through my gloves. And once all the supports are gone, we can cure them in our Cure Mega S to solidify all the parts further. The next issue is, what about the patterns? Every plushies require a pattern that you mark out on the fabric to cut and sew together. The traditional method is to tape over the clay sculptures and then cut the tape up, lay them flat to turn into patterns. I mean, I have the exact 3D model from the game, so I could technically mark up all the seams, print them out, and then try to use the tape method to figure out the patterns, right? Maybe it's just me, but I think it is a lot more complicated than it looks. Because you must know how to flatten the tape by strategically cutting dots in it, which I just couldn't understand, like how many and where should I cut them so that they don't look too ugly when I sew them back together. If only there's a way to generate the patterns directly from the 3D models. Well, there is. This website called Plushify does exactly what we need. And as mentioned, the model has a very good UV map that we could just use as the seams. You can name each pieces, specify the fur direction so that you know how to orientate your parts, select different colors for different parts, and even have a visualization of how it looks to adjust the size accordingly. With all the parts named, you can print the pattern out, and it even tells you which part needs to be sewn to which sides. And that is a lifesaver for a beginner plush maker like myself. So I printed them out on A4 size papers, but don't worry, long parts like the tail has been marked out well, so you can combine them later. Now we just have to cut them all up one at a time, and once they are all cut out, we can organize them nicely by part, and then further divide them by the different colored fabric that we specified previously. One for purple, and the other for dark purple. Once that is done, we are ready for fabric. I bought this from China as usual, and we will have to identify the direction of the fur and the stretch, and now we can mark out all the pieces. By coloring along the edges of the paper, it will block out and leave behind a clean line that you can follow along later. I'm going to transfer all the labeling and the markings so that I don't get confused, then we just have to do the same for every single piece. But please don't be a genius like myself and forget to leave some seam allowance. Yeah, I placed the parts too close to one another, but it's okay, we are just gonna cut out as many usable parts as we can and sacrifice one pair of bikinis? No, their legs, which I will just redraw again. As for the tail, you can combine the two parts with tape, then mark the whole thing out. It works the same as the other colors as well, just that for black, we need a silver marker, otherwise we couldn't see the markings at all. While for the darker purple, it's the exact same steps. And now the fabrics are ready to be sewn. Let's first revisit our prints because they printed out really great and the parts fits really well on the head. However, we still have to do some sanding because there are supports residues everywhere and we don't want them poking through the fabric. Just that we don't really need to care too much about how they look because they will be covered up by fabric later on. This massive amount of manual labor is only possible thanks to you and your support by donating a cup of joe every single month to give me energy. But if you are unable to do so, you can simply like and comment on this video to help with the algorithm. And now we can attach the skeleton to the smoothed out prints. Too bad I didn't really make the hole big enough, so we have to do some drilling for the head as well as the palms and the feet, and then glue the knobs on to be reattached later. And it is time for sewing. I started with machine sewing since there are so many parts. I will probably faint if I hand sew everything. But yeah, even after using more pins this time, still, I couldn't really get it right and had to fix it with hand sewing afterwards. So I decided to just hand sew the parts together and great, we just made Thanos' scrotum. As for the body, the lines of the zipper are actually curved, so I think hand sewing will be better since I will have more control that way, and it's coming together nicely. With a functioning zipper, we just have to cut the remaining off, which is really long, and continue sewing the other side until we reach the top. Now we can sew the parts onto themselves to create the shoulders for the arm, and I'm gonna leave the leg open for now to insert the armature. The arm is pretty simple, just sew along the sides and it's done. The palm is just like the foot we made earlier, we just have to attach the palm to the arm. Okay, the print broke and I gave up. This is the next day and the skeleton also broke because I used too much force. There's actually a tool to reattach things, but it requires at least 2 knobs to get a good grip. But we only glued on one, so yeah, it's unusable now. That is fine, we are just going to stuff the hands and feet now, because I think the armature itself will be enough to articulate without the prints. But the palms have like fingers, so I will try to mark them out with a simple thread. It looks kind of wonky now, but with stuffing in it, it holds the shape pretty well. Let's attach the arms to the body and we can work on the final leg. This is a special one because there is supposed to be a Playtime code tag on the right, which I printed on the fabric that I used for Mrs. Nesbitt's apron. And now we just need to kind of figure out how to sew it in place since everything is inside out. Okay, I want this to be outside on the right, so I have to place it inside on the left? Yeah, it's kind of mind-bending, but we got it right in the end. With the body done, we are left with the head. I sewed the black fabric together, then combined it with the purple fabric, and it seems that it's going to require some convincing for them to stay in shape because it looks ridiculous now. This is the glue I used for hair rooting on Miss Delight, and I will be applying a lot of it inside the mouth. Then we will try to nudge the fabric into place and hope that it holds its shape. Finally, it's time to stuff the plush. I'm using this polyester bedding that Umbra Tundra used to fill up their plushies. I don't really know why, but I think it helps to hold the armature in place, maybe? So that is what I'm going to do as well. Then we can wear the bodysuit, but I am still going to fill CatNap up with some stuffing to fill in the gaps and make him super fluffy. For the legs, I am filling them up with stuffing only because I am lazy, then attach them to the body. The ears also have an indentation like the mouth, that is why we needed to print it out. Sew them both up, and similarly we are going to glue the fabric on, then glue the ears onto the head. Last but not least, we left the best to the last, the extremely long tail that I know I could probably machine sew since it's so straight, but to be safe, I'm just gonna hand sew using the back stitch because I'm actually starting to enjoy it, one poke at a time until it's done. The funner part is the stuffing of course, but we have to push the fabric inside out first with our handy dandy chopstick from lunch. Very Asian of me. Then use the same chopstick to push in all the stuffing, and just like the legs, I'm using the ladder stitch to attach the tail onto the back of the body. Alright, the sewing part is finally completed, and we are back to our familiar territory of working with 3D prints. The handle on the crescent charm was too thin and it broke, so I have to replace it with some metal wire. Just some drilling, cut the wires, and we can glue them on later. What's left is to paint our part with black, and I mean every part, like the nose, the eyes, and even the charm, because gloss black is a good base for metallic silver, which I then layered with transparent yellow to turn it into a nice metallic yellow crescent. All we have to do now is to glue the parts onto the face. The metal zipper was easy to snip off and remove, so we can replace it with our very own 3D printed one. And it's done. Life-size CatNap Plush sewn from scratch. Something I never thought I could ever do, and it's only possible because I started researching on other franchises and discovered so many content creators who has generously shared their knowledge online. I really couldn't have done it without them. We now have an articulated catnap that could place its arms down nicely, and it's really fluffy and nice to touch. I also painted the dark purple parts to make them more vibrant, and I think it makes catnap pop even more. Now it's time for you to watch my other Poppy Playtime videos. Thank you.